Have you ever thought about getting your morning coffee, a prescription, or even life-saving medicine delivered right to your door in just a few minutes? Not by a person, but by a small autonomous drone. Well, that's the exciting promise of drone delivery, a technology that could totally reshape our world. Okay, so let's really get into this. The vision, you have to admit, is incredible. A sky filled with these super efficient, automated drones zipping around. But, underneath all that hype, there's a much more complex reality. We're talking about some serious technical hurdles, big economic challenges, and some really important societal questions that we have to answer. So first up, let's explore the dream. This is the vision that is giants like Amazon, Google, and Walmart pouring millions and millions of dollars into research. It's a future where our whole logistics network is just faster, smarter, and way more efficient than anything we have today. And the scale of this dream? It's absolutely staggering. Just look at this number. Projections are showing that in just about a decade, by 2034, drones could be making over 800 million deliveries to consumers every single year. So this isn't some small niche idea. We're talking about the potential future of mass logistics. So why all the excitement? Well, the appeal really boils down to three powerful things. First, they're way faster, right? They can just fly right over all that city traffic. Second, the cost for each delivery is expected to just plummet, making it cheaper than the old ways. And third, and this is a big one, is the environmental win. These electric drones could mean a huge reduction in carbon emissions compared to our typical gas-guzzling delivery vans. But here's the thing. This isn't just some sci-fi dream for the future. The technology is already out there, right now, making a real-world difference in some very specific and often life-saving situations. Let's take a look at where it's already working. In countries like Ghana and Rwanda, a company called Zipline is using drones as a vital part of the healthcare system. They've delivered millions of units of blood and vaccines, cutting down the transport time for these critical supplies from hours to just a matter of minutes. It's literally a lifesaver. And then you have the other end of the spectrum. In suburbs in Australia and the US, Google's Wing is proving the model for just everyday convenience. They're dropping off small packages, think groceries and coffee, right into people's backyards. It shows this can really work for that final last mile of e-commerce. And in the industrial world, drones are taking on the jobs that are frankly just dangerous and difficult for people. They're flying critical supplies out to ships and offshore oil rigs, sometimes in weather that would ground a helicopter. It keeps people out of harm's way, which is a huge benefit. Okay, so if the technology is already delivering blood in Rwanda and groceries in Texas, and the benefits seem so clear, what's stopping our skies from just being full of these things right now? Well, the answer is a series of pretty major hurdles. Yeah, so the path to getting your pizza delivered by a drone is a little blocked. It's a complex mix of things, really. We're talking about strict safety regulations, tricky economics that don't quite add up yet, and a few key technical problems that we still need to solve. Right now, aviation rules put drones in a really tight operational box. They're super strict about how far a drone can fly, how much it can carry, how high it can go, and this is the big one for mass delivery, they pretty much prohibit flights over crowded cities. The single biggest regulatory hurdle, honestly the holy grail for this whole industry, is something called Beyond Visual Line of Sight, or BVLS. It's exactly what it sounds like, being able to fly a drone without the pilot actually having to see it. This is the key that unlocks true automation and massive scale, but you can imagine, regulators are being extremely cautious to make sure it's safe. And then there's the money. Right now, the economics are, well, they're pretty stark. At over $12 a kilometer, drone delivery is just way more expensive than using a van or a motorbike. Until the technology and the scale of operations bring that cost way, way down, it's going to remain a premium service for very specific situations. But beyond all the tech and the regulations, a much deeper and maybe more important question is starting to come up. As this technology rolls out, who is it really for? Who gets the benefits, and who might actually get left behind? This is a classic pattern we see with almost any new technology, right? There's a very real risk that all the benefits of drone delivery, like super fast access to goods and medicine, could end up concentrated in wealthier neighborhoods, while the downsides, like all the noise and safety risks, could fall on lower income communities. Now, this is where it gets really, really interesting. This slide shows a huge disconnect. We're looking at what the experts, the academics and regulators, are worried about versus what the general public is actually talking about online. And as you're about to see, they are focused on very different things. So the academics and the regulators, they are overwhelmingly focused on these big systemic risks: collision safety, privacy, noise pollution. But the public? Their concerns are much more personal and immediate. People are asking, is this actually convenient? Can it even get to my apartment door? And hey, what's this going to cost me? So, how do we possibly bridge this gap between the dream and the reality? Well, the path forward probably isn't about choosing one over the other. It's about building a much smarter system for everyone. And that smarter system looks a little something like this. The most realistic future isn't about getting rid of every single delivery truck. It's about smart integration, drones and trucks working together. The drone handles that final, tricky part of the journey, making the whole network more efficient for those urgent, short-distance deliveries they're perfect for. So building this future really takes a three-part approach. First, we absolutely need clear standard rules of the road for these drones. Second, we have to build the digital air traffic control system to safely manage thousands of them flying around. And third, and maybe most importantly, companies and policymakers have to actually listen to the public's real-world concerns to build trust and get people on board. At the end of the day, the success of drone delivery won't just be about the technology. It's going to be a social achievement. The tech is coming. That much seems clear. The real question we all have to answer now is how we're going to shape it to make sure it serves all of us on terms that are fair, equitable, and genuinely beneficial for everyone.